Hi again. Okay, so we're going to start on the graphing parabolic functions. I just wanted to say parabolic because that makes me sound so smart. Anyway, there's two different formulas that we use to do these. This is the first one. So if you want to hit pause and write this in your notebook, what I have on the board, that's cool. And then hit play after you do that. Okay, this is a function given in, I think, the easiest way to graph. H and K, that's the ordered pair, the XY value of the vertex. Because when you're graphing a curve, it's not so simple as graphing a line. You could be there sticking points in for X all day long and never be really sure what's the highest point or what's the lowest point. HK gives you it right away, tells you what that vertex point is. So if you have, if A, the number out front is positive, your parabola opens up like this, okay? If that's the case, this vertex down here, that's your minimum, excuse me, the minimum value of your function. If A is a negative number, your parabola opens downward, down like a frown, and your vertex is your maximum value of the function. In business, you're always looking for max and min. Minimize your cost, maximize your revenue, maximize your profit, minimize exposure of your employees to a harmful substance, that kind of stuff. So parabolas are used a lot in business and in science. You know how they've been saying with the virus about flatten the curve? Ta-da! We'll be talking about that kind of stuff. So it's pretty interesting. The key here is to notice this minus sign. Notice that HK gives me my XY value for the vertex, whether it's minimum or maximum. Okay, it's not negative HK, it's positive HK. So let me put one with numbers and it'll make more sense. I think you've all had this before, but you may or may not remember some of the details. So suppose I have a function like this. Okay, this is the easiest, oops, forgot to square it. First of all, you know it's parabolic if it's squared. Now, order of operations, I would take x minus 3 times itself, and you'd have to do FOIL, so you'd end up with an x squared, and then distribute the 2. Okay, so x squared, if 2 is your highest exponent on your variable, it's going to be a parabola when it's graphed. Okay, so this is in this format. So 2 is the A, H is a 3, and K is a 1. Now, if you don't have that formula in front of you, the tendency would say HK is negative 3, 1. But that's not the way it works. This negative sign is part of the formula. So here, your vertex is 3, 1. Your direction is going to be up because that A is positive. See what I mean? Now if I have, say I have 2x minus 3 plus 1. Oops, sorry. That's the exact same thing. There we go. Plus 3. If I were to actually literally take this and put it in this format where I have that minus sign between the x and whatever number's there, it would look like this. X minus a minus 3 plus 1. We wouldn't bother writing it like that. Remember, you try and keep things as concise as possible. Negative of a negative is positive. So if you literally wrote it like this, here's your A, here's your K, H, sorry, here's your H, and here's your K. So your vertex is negative 3, 1, and your direction, again, is up because this number out front, this A, is positive. Now, you're not going to rewrite the formula like that. The way I always remembered it is the H is the opposite of how it looks. So it looks like it's negative, it's going to be positive. Looks like it's positive, it's going to be negative. And the K is exactly how it looks. Okay, so let's just do just a few, make sure that you can figure out the vertex and stuff. Okay, so number 1, f of x is going to be negative 3, X minus 4 squared plus 5. Let's find the vertex and the direction. Let's do 4 of them for good measure. Okay. Okay, so these are all in this format. So my vertex is HK. The opposite how it looks, exactly how it looks. So it's going to be 4, 5. Not negative 4, 5. And then my direction, because this value is negative, is going to be down. My vertex for this one, the opposite of how it looks, so negative 1, and then exactly how it looks, negative 3. The A is positive, so this one is going to open up like a smile. Okay? If you want to pause it and try these ones, that'll be good. Okay, our vertex is the opposite of how it looks, exactly how it looks. Now here, there's not a number here. That means there's an implied positive 1, which is a positive number, so the direction would be up. Opposite of how it looks, exactly how it looks. My A is negative, so my direction is down. That's not too bad, right? Now to graph these, you're going to need to have more than just a couple points. But you don't need to be real extreme about it, okay? So, to graph, you want to plot the vertex. Use the next 2 x values If you want to hit pause and write this, that's okay. Okay, you want to plot your vertex, so you pluck out your HK, and make sure you pay attention to which direction it's going. Okay, and then we're going to go over one and then over one more and get some other points, just by putting x values into the function. So if you want to hit pause and write that, then I'll do a quick problem. I have a straight edge in here somewhere. Okay, remember y and f of x, same thing. Okay, so for this, we want to pick out our vertex. So the opposite of how it looks, exactly how it looks. So this is going to be -1, -3. The A is positive, so it's going to open up like a smile. Then what we want to do is plot our vertex. So I'm going to do So we plot our vertex. Remember, you start at the origin, go in the x direction, in this case -1 in the x direction, then -3 in the y. So there's 1, 2, 3. So here's -1, 3. That's our vertex. Then what you want to do is you want to put this nifty little line right through your vertex point. This is called the Axis of Symmetry. Which my students will tell you I think is a great name for a band. And then it turns out there's already a band called that. I feel like they should pay me royalties. Anywho, okay. Now, the thing about parabolas, they're symmetrical. Like, you're not going to have a parabola that's, you know, coming down like this and then, you know, hits the vertex and goes all crazy. It's going to be even Steven on either side of this axis of symmetry, which is why it's called that. So, I need more than just one point on either side because it really doesn't give me an essence of how quickly it spreads, or is it narrow, is it wide. So what I need to do is I need to find two values. This isn't a very good graph, but I want to use, I always left it up to students for years and then they get really confused. So we're just going to stick to this, okay? Whatever next to this one, whatever that x value is, okay, we're going to find f at that value and then f at this next value. So the next two to the right. So in this case it's 0, so I'm going to find f of 0. So you go to your original function and you put a 0 in for the x. Then you order of operations, right? So, okay, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 squared is 1, minus 3. So 2 minus 3 is -1. So this tells me that 0, -1 is a point on this function. So 0, -1. Okay. Now I'm going to go one more over. Like I said, we need to have a little bit more information here. So I'll go one more over, which is when x is 1. So I stick a 1 in for the x. Okay, so that's 2. 2 squared minus 3. Notice that only what's in the parentheses is being squared. Okay, so that's 2 times 4 minus 3. So it's 8 minus 3 is 5. So that tells me when x is 1, y is 5. So you go from your origin, 1 in the x direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the y direction. Now, because this is not a point on there, I'm just showing you the x values. Now, because it's symmetrical, if you take a look, from my axis of symmetry, when we went over one space in the x direction, it goes up to -1. If I go one space in this direction to the left, it's going to be at the same height. Otherwise, it's not going to be symmetrical. From my axis of symmetry, when I went over 2 spaces in the x direction, it jumps up to 5. So 2 spaces to the left is going to jump up to 5 as well. I suck at art. I really suck at art. Okay. So sorry. Okay? So that gives you some idea. I'm going to do a bunch more of these in the next video, but that gives you something on which to build, hopefully. And see you next video. Well, I will see you. Bye.